right, guys, welcome back to the Fighters Eye podcast. Today's guest is Hannah Goldy. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. But let's get right into it. I've been all right. I'm training for a fight. I don't know if you are. I know you're in the gym,
You're
but
training for a fight?
I'm an amateur boxer, so
Okay. Where at? Where are you from?
I'm from Tampa. I'm fighting like September, October. I don't even have a date. I just want to fight then.
All
So
right. Well, you got to keep me posted. I might have to come through Tampa. That's not
yeah,
far.
you have to. Wait, where you live? Where are you?
Orlando.
Yeah, you got to come. Now
What
you
p-
have to.
what promotion is it?
It's just like an amateur promotion. I have like what's it called, like physical disabilities, like health issues. So it's like a weird thing.
Okay. Well, keep me posted. I'll come
All
through.
right, I will. I will. But let's get right into this. Obviously you're a professional MMA fighter. How did you get into the MMA and the UFC scene, and like what made you want to become a professional fighter?
I started training randomly. I lived in New York City and I briefly dated a guy who owned a Muay Thai gym and I didn't even know really what Muay Thai was. Like my dad took me to like a underground fight. Like it was like in an old like abandoned church like when I had first moved to the city and I saw it and then again randomly started dating this guy and he owned a gym and I just started going in and doing cardio kickboxing and I was like, damn, this is dope. I really like this.
Yeah.
Hated jujitsu at first though, like loved striking, hated jujitsu, which is hilarious because that's obviously like my favorite martial art now. But yeah, then I moved to Florida like a year later and I started training at a UFC gym in Clearwater actually. And I just loved it. I trained there for like a month and took my it was supposed to be a kickboxing fight in Orlando, but it turned into like I got there, the girl that I was supposed to fight weighed in like 20 pounds heavier than me.
Oh
So
wow.
then they like moved some shit around and I ended up boxing a girl that day. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then I always say like I kind of just, was definitely super blessed in the sense of meeting the right people and just, you know, I just always felt like I was around so many talented athletes and it just like
Mhm.
catapulted me into the sport.
I mean, that's a crazy way to start your like first fight. You get them, the girls like in a completely different weight class. I'll be like, nah.
Honestly, 12 years ago and like even before that, like the generation before me is like there used to not be weight classes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that was a very common experience honestly coming up as an amateur like you're supposed to fight this person, people are backing out this and that. Like especially then as a female in MMA, like it was crazy. There was not a lot of girls. Now it's so cool to see the evolution of women's MMA for sure.
Yeah.
But it was different 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially nowadays, we have Kayla Harrison about to fight Amanda Nunes, which
Oh
is
my
just like,
gosh.
dude,
I,
I'm not like, I'm not the biggest MMA, women's MMA fan sometimes because some girls are like just boring. Like, some girls, they come there to like get the
he's
paycheck and not.
yeah, he speaks the truth.
But, no, and I have no
But
problem with
fighters
it.
in general, it's not just women, like
Yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
definitely men that do that too. So,
I mean, what's his name? Lerone Murphy does it. So,
okay.
yeah, so everybody
But
does it sometimes. But I'm excited for Nunes versus Harrison, which
yeah, that'll be dope.
you just like almost answered my next question, which was like, what are your thoughts on like the women's evolution of MMA from like because obviously Ronda Rousey made it pretty big with like the superstar she was, and then helped elevate the women. Then Holly Holm came and took that, and now we have Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is like an evolution of women's MMA, right? So Ronda, I think, was like a pioneer of the sport, and I think like she just like has her own seat in women's MMA, you know?
Hmm.
I don't think Holly beating her like totally like just like took her off the map. Like Ronda still did so much for women's MMA, but like that was also just such I remember watching that fight and like just like that was such a crazy moment in the sport, like it
Yeah,
was such a shock and like I just remember being like, dang, I can't believe that just happened. Like so but yeah, so it's like I feel back then people were more not as well rounded, like people were good at like one thing and it was kind of like they were playing into that strength. And now it's more so like in order to be at the top level, you have to be good at everything, so fighters are just so much more well rounded now than they were, 10, 15 years ago.
yeah,
Because they're training MMA off rip instead of like being a jiu-jitsu guy and then, learning to strike or being a wrestler and then, learning to do jiu-jitsu. Like people are putting it together much earlier on in their careers and I think that is why we've seen such a crazy, um, like, it's just like the talent has just escalated.
Yeah, because I feel like with Ronda Rousey, she was so good at grappling, and then obviously we saw she's not the best at striking, but now it's like to be in that top 10 or top 15, you need to be able to finish anybody anywhere. That goes for
Yeah,
men and women.
yeah, you have to be good at everything for sure. Being well-rounded it's not an option.
Yeah.
Or
I
not
mean,
being well-rounded is not an option.
yeah, because you'll get dusted up. I mean, we've seen it before, especially nowadays. Like the collegiate wrestling, I think it's called. They'll come into the UFC, think they can hang, and then you know.
Yeah, I do feel
Oh,
like though wrestling is probably like if I could have done any sport when I was a kid, I probably would have picked wrestling. Now, like looking back on, where I'm at, if I had
yeah,
wrestled when I was a kid, I feel like that would have been so beneficial for me.
yeah. I mean, I'm a boxer right now, but I'm about to start doing MMA.
Yeah.
Um, my mom doesn't like it. She doesn't like the elbows, but I personally love it. I don't mind it. I think it's
I
funny.
I couldn't, I mean, I understand where your mom's coming from because I brought my son Odin we go to this trampoline park close to our house and there's one of those like foam beams where you can
Mm-hmm.
get on and like they have like the foam sticks and you try to like hit each other off.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And I'm watching him and he's playing with these three other boys and they're all older than him and Odin's actually like beating all of them. But I'm like literally my heart is sinking. Like I'm just like so worried he's gonna get hurt. They're hitting each other with foam sticks and he wants
yeah.
to fight. Like he constantly is like I just want to get in the cage. Like I just want to get in the ring, like he just wants to fight. So I'm like, I can't, I don't know. Your poor mom. I feel for her.
Yeah, I just turned 18, so it was like the thing before I turned 18, it was like I need to watch you spar, I need to watch you do the bag work, the mitts, running miles, and I was like, man, when I turn 18, I don't gotta get your permission for this no more.
Well, it's
Ooh.
good. She's invested in seeing you succeed. She's a good mom.
She didn't watch my last fight. She like had her eyes closed and like with like this video in it like that. She did not want
Oh,
to watch it. I
well,
was like,
I get it. I totally understand.
would you be like that too? Because I know some people are like that. I know even like with UFC fighters, some people are like
I
their
mean,
moms don't come.
I don't know. I think obviously because, I'm a fighter, it would be a bit different. It's just he's still so little too, maybe
How
again,
old is he?
he's 8.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but again, like similarly to your mom, I would probably want to make sure that he was doing all of the things that he needed to be doing in order to be successful in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I was seeing that, I think that would probably instill confidence in me, but you never want to see your baby get hit.
That's true. That's true. I mean, obviously you were in the UFC. It didn't end the best way. 2 losses and they cut you, which to me is a little weird because obviously like Tony Ferguson, who was on like a 7 fight losing streak, they've had like they even now there's still some fighters that aren't well known that are on like 3 fight losing streaks, and you didn't even lose the bad people. Molly McCann, who was in the rankings and fought Aaron Blanchard, and then I think her name is Mizuki Inui, who's pretty good in my opinion. I don't think
Yeah,
she's
I
better
know.
her.
Yeah, I've been curious to see her fight since me because I mean, her only losses were to like contenders, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and I honestly feel like in my Mizuki fight, I only showed up 50%, but I feel like that was the most that I had showed up. Like since I'd been in the UFC. I think I definitely never fought to my potential, but I also think I just got signed to the UFC a bit early. And I wish that I had gotten more experience prior to being signed, but obviously again, like back then, like I only had 4 amateur fights before I went pro. I only had
Mm-hmm.
4 pro fights before I got signed to contender. And prior to my MMA career, I didn't really do sports growing up, so I didn't have very much competition experience. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that was always like the struggle for me was I'm a monster in the gym, but like putting it together like on the night that it counted, it was like me still just getting comfortable like under the lights. And it's hard to do that when you're fighting the best girls in the world.
Yeah.
Um so looking back on my career, I definitely think like that's something when people ask me, like advice for up and coming fighters, it's like just like as you're an amateur, like just get as much experience as you can, like competition experience, like grappling competitions, MMA, boxing, kickboxing, do whatever, like just compete because that is like I feel the biggest test, is you can prepare as much as you want like leading up to the fight, but you have to actually show up that
Of
night
course.
too.
Yep.
And that just, I mean, some people have that, like I always say, like Odin's dad, Alex Nicholson and Mike Perry, like I came up with them and I just remember seeing them, like they just like love to fight, you know, like they grew up fighting. Like I never got into I've never been in an altercation outside the gym, like never gotten into a fight outside the gym, you know. So it's just a different mindset.
Yeah.
But now as I've matured and gotten older in the sport, I think I had always been confident in my preparation leading up to a fight, but it was like the confidence in my skills, and now I feel like I have those. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making one more run regionally and then, you know, seeing where that leads me.
Yeah, obviously you said Mike Perry, he's pretty crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
He doesn't really like me. It's okay.
He doesn't like you?
No, his
Oh.
family doesn't like me either. I'm a big Jake Paul fan, and I didn't know it, but I was sitting behind his parents at the weigh-ins, and I said some not so nice things about Mike Perry, and
Oh
his family
no.
heard it. So he doesn't really like me, but it's all good. I'll have him on the channel. But
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't fought in over a year. It
Mhm.
was your last fight was JD. I think the first name's wrong. JD Garcia. You got the win by submission. What was the game plan going into that fight, and did it play out how you thought it would?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, like I wish I would have finished in the first round. I feel
Hmm.
like I definitely did what I wanted to strike more, but I also just wanted to like prove to myself that like I could just show up, you know, like after I got cut from the UFC, I was honestly grateful for it because I was like now I have time to, you know, go back to the drawing board and kind of like
Hmm.
compete regionally and like, you know, just gain confidence like on fight day. But I was happy with it. You know, I wanted to get back in there pretty quickly after that, but that promotion I had fought for had kind of screwed me, you know, a couple times. I was supposed to fight for them twice. They canceled, and then I signed with the GFL, and then they canceled. So it's just been a bit of a tough year in that sense. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So what is up with the GFL? Is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Because I know the Instagram is still up. Are you still signed to the GFL?
No. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. Honestly, I haven't heard anything from them about them since like the day that they announced that we weren't fighting anymore. So
Which
I'm
was
not.
when?
Um, a month before the April card, or a month before the May card, I think, or a couple weeks before the May card was supposed to be. So end of April,
Dang.
beginning of May.
Yeah, because I know like Holly Holm signed. I know Tyron Woodley signed. A lot of big people signed. I was like, dude, this could actually be cool. Like, it's not the youngest people, but they're still have a lot of
No,
experience.
yeah, it would have been a cool thing had it played out, but I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the fight game.
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on Mike Perry's bare knuckle career? I mean, he's a psychopath.
His bare knuckle career.
Yeah, like he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, I think he was definitely built for bare knuckle. Honestly, I think that that sport was perfect for him. Like I said, you know, like they they're not scared to fight, you know, like he's
Hmm.
down to fight, and I think that that sport was made for him, you know. But it's funny, I mean, I love the dirty boxing concept too. I was with them a few weeks ago and with him and Latory, and she was like asking if I would ever do it, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it would be fun, like boxing with elbows and fluffies, like that sounds super fun to me. When I was hitting the bag today, I'm like, I could do this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Mike Perry, I believe he's undefeated. He is undefeated in bare knuckle. I
Hmm.
think he's the best bare knuckle fighter in the world. He's so fun to watch. But if he does want to come back to the UFC, him versus Carlos Prates is all I'm gonna say. That's all.
Okay.
Him versus Carlos Prates. But yeah, his bare knuckle thing is cool. I like it a lot. I'm not like super big into it, but if I do watch it, I'm watching a Mike Perry card for sure.
Absolutely.
So would you do dirty boxing if they offered, or like what would it depend for you?
um I would. Yeah, I think like it would just depend on, you know, the matchup, and obviously the logistics of the fight would have to make sense, but I would be open to it.
You have a name in mind? Call
No.
your shot.
I don't know because right now they really only have 35ers, you know?
Oh, that's true.
Because
Yep.
like I mean, yeah, I think Jess just fought at 35, and then like I think all the women's fights have been 35ers, so I don't know if they even have any 15ers or 25ers fighting for them.
You fought at 125 in the UFC, right?
I fought at both, yeah, 115 and
Oh.
125.
How was the weight? How was the weight cut? Was it difficult? Like, would you fight at flyweight again or strawweight?
Strawweight, I probably wouldn't fight at unless it was for back in the UFC, or like if the PFL opened up a strawweight division or one, you know what I mean, something like that.
Hmm.
Regionally, I would probably just fight at 25. 115 is really, really hard for me to make. I'm like this weird body type where it's like I have a lot of muscle for 115, so it's hard for me to cut to 115, but like I have a super small frame for 125. So I'm
Hmm.
like that weird in between where like 120 would have been a perfect weight class for me. But actually, initially when the GFL started, I had heard that they were going to do like a weight class every 5 pounds. That changed like quickly into them organizing more, but yeah, a 120 weight class would be cool.
120 would be cool because I know there's a couple fighters like female fighters like in the UFC that have said like they're too small for 125, but the 115 is too difficult. But Dana
Yeah.
White's probably just like,
No, it
nah,
would, I
we
mean,
only,
yeah, it would be, I get it. Like it's a lot. It would be too much, but
yeah.
it's just, it's tough.
Yeah, what do you make of like I know there's an online meme. I don't know if do you follow a lot of like MMA like memes online?
Some stuff, but I kind of like live under a rock when it comes
Okay,
to social
so
media.
I know there's been a couple female fighters that have came out and said that they don't like the MMA like online community because there's some female fights where people are like, "Oh, this is my bathroom break." Do you take that disrespectfully or
I
I
mean, I
I would if I'm a female fighter and someone goes over my fight and says, "This is my bathroom break." I'm gonna be like, "That's no, that's not nice."
yeah, I mean, I guess again, like for sure, I guess you could take it personal. I don't take it personal, but it's also like there are some female fights that are like that, but like there are also some male fights that are like that too, So MMA fans are honestly the worst. Like they're so they're so fair weather, like they're so cruel. Like I remember when I fought in London and I was walking out to fight Molly, I was getting screamed at. People were throwing things at me. They were screaming F you in my face. Like it was insane. And I'm walking out to fight, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, like everybody here hates me. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, MMA fans can be tough. Yeah.
I know those British fans are, they're ruthless sometimes, especially for like the Molly McCanns, the Patty Pimlets, the Tom Aspinalls.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, for sure, I definitely like support your people, but also just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
on
yeah.
the keyboard warriors they're
Keyboard
everywhere.
warriors, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm one of those sometimes. I'll openly admit there's some fighters like Lerone Murphy. I do not like him. You
You're a
know,
shit talker.
I'm not a shit talker, but like he beat up Josh Emmett, which definitely made me upset. But
I
it's
know
like
I do love Josh Emmett.
me too. Nobody understands, but I love this dude so much. I
Yeah.
just bought a signed card of his off of Amazon or
Yeah, I
eBay.
love him. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I can't remember what main event card I was at of his. He was in the main event on a card that I went to. And I remember I didn't know much about him, but he walked out to a song that I like and I was like, "Oh, I fuck with this guy." And then he fought and I was like, "I really fuck with this guy."
Was it in Jacksonville?
Maybe. Who did he fight?
Italy Taporia?
No, I don't know. Or no, was that a while ago? Because this was like years ago.
That was in 2023. It might have been Calvin Cater. That was in 2022 in like June.
Where was that one?
That was Texas, I believe.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was headlining.
Yeah, I think he was the main event. I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have been Cater or Taporia.
Okay.
I love both those. No, I don't like the Taporia fight. I was there, but yeah, that was a hard day for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a savage.
Ilya's so good. Did you
He's
see his
so,
thing over Charles?
yes. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
Dude, it was a perfect timing.
I
But
know. I had a feel like I like Charles. Like Charles's jiu-jitsu coach trains at my gym. Like I learn from him, all the time. And obviously, always want to see Charles do well. But I had a feeling that that was how that fight was gonna go.
me too. I said it on Monday on Fight Week. One of my friends was like, "How do you think it's gonna go?" And I was like, "Dude, we're literally about to lose Charles Oliveira's like
I
entire
know.
aura. Like he's going to get slept badly
Yeah,
in
Ilya's
round
just got
one."
that power.
But I mean, obviously, you train in Orlando. You train at what's it called, Fusion XL. I'm bad at gym names sometimes. Like I'll write them down and then forget where I wrote them.
Yeah,
But you
there's a
train with,
lot.
but yeah, you train with the likes of Terrence McKinney. Taurus
Mm-hmm.
Finney, Phil
Mm-hmm.
Rowe, what's Angel Mercado. I feel like I said that name wrong.
Mercado.
Cat, Cat Nelson. I mean,
Hmm.
how does training at Fusion XL, how has it helped you improve your overall MMA game and just your fight IQ in general?
I mean, Fusion's, been my home for even prior to it being Fusion. It was a small gym called SWAT. And it was, like five or six of us, like me, Alex Nicholson, Mike Perry, Julian Williams, Chopper Reed. Like there was just like a super small group of us, and I remember we would have pro sparring on Mondays at Paul Rodriguez's gym, who Paul
Mhm.
Rodriguez fought, and I can't even remember the early days of the UFC. Him and Dean Thomas came up together. um and I remember we used to have pro sparring at his gym on Mondays, and I actually remember the first day that Paul like sparred with me. Like I would ask him and he never would, and then one day I like asked him to spar with me and he like gave me the nod, and I was like, yes, I just earned his respect. But so Fusion became a thing probably I think 7 or 8 years ago. And since he opened, it's just like flourished. It's like we have people come from all over now. There's so many different looks, so many different, everybody's good we have like crazy good wrestlers, we have amazing strikers, we have, tons of jiu-jitsu black belts. Adolfo Vieira's at our gym. Um,
He's pretty good.
so
I
it's
like him.
just, yeah, he's dope. He's like literally the sweetest person in the entire world too.
Dude.
So I feel blessed to, train there and like have grown with the gym. And it's just a crazy dynamic. Like when people come in, I love like watching people experience it for the first time, because it's just we're like a big family,
Yeah.
But again, yeah, so much talent. So it's just good vibes.
Yeah. I've met Terrence McKinney and Phil Rowe in person. They follow me on Instagram. I've had Terrence on the channel. I love Terrence McKinney and Phil Rowe. Those are like my two favorite fighters, like ever. I love them so
Yeah,
much.
Phil's an OG too. Phil has like I've known Phil since I started coming to Orlando. He lived far away, that long ago, but he used to travel. Like he would drive, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to come get, sparring sessions in with the guys. And yeah, he's been a good friend of mine for a while. And then Terrence he's been with us for I think a year, I don't even know, maybe over a year now. And he brings his son to the gym like every day, and I'm obsessed with his son. Like yeah, we're a big family at Fusion.
Yeah, I met his son when I did the interview. His son wanted ice cream, like the
Yeah.
entire interview, and sat on
Elias,
his
he's
lap and
so
was like,
cute. He
he
can
was
be
like, ice
naughty, but
cream, ice cream, and I was
he,
laughing. I was
yeah,
like, dude, this is funny.
he's always like sprinting on the mat, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna get like we I mean, a bunch of us have kids at the gym, so we're used to kids like running on and off the mat. But like my son almost got knocked out like on accident by Leota one day, because he's like running on the mat when I tell him not to run on the mat, and like Leota's throwing a kick like at somebody else, and
No,
Odin's almost decapitated, and I'm like, dude, it's just,
no,
yeah, so
dude, I might need to come down there and train. Who
yeah,
knows?
you definitely should. It's
Me
it's
and Terrence and McKinney are gonna get some work. Let's do it, Terrence.
Yeah, let's do it.
Actually, I don't know about that.
I'll ref.
I'm gonna get hurt.
No,
You
you'll
know,
be good. You'll be good. He's powerful. He's almost dropped me with the body shot before. I mean,
they
not for lack of trying, but like
his thing over the weekend against Vyacheslav was
insane.
so perfect.
Yeah, he looked great. Yeah, he's on a tear. He's a monster.
Yeah, my mom loves T-Rex too, so we were watching it together, and mom was like, "He's gonna tap." Wait, no, Terrence is actually gonna pop his head off. And I
Yeah,
was like, "No,
Terrence is
mom, that's
gonna.
not physically possible. But if he does, dude, he's gonna go down as a legend." And then we
Yeah,
tapped. Me and mom
if
started
it
jumping
was
up and
physically
down.
if it was physically possible, that's what it would look like. That was crazy. Like the way the guy was just like kicking his legs and stuff. That was a dope
Yeah,
finish.
he's a monster too. Both of them are so like underrated.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you make of Phil Rowe's performance as well back in Atlanta?
Oh my gosh,
He
God.
won me money. He won me money. So, dude, I'm happy.
I mean, I told him like that was just so savage, coming back like that. He had me so nervous. I was actually in the movies with Odin. We went to see How to Train Your Dragon, and I like have my phone like on my lap, like watching the fight, trying to watch the movie. And like the first two rounds had me, I'm like freaking out. And
Mm-hmm.
then he came out in the third, and I was like, oh, like I was like this. he's gonna finish him. Like I feel like he's gonna finish him. But I told him it reminded me of like a one-sided version. There's an old, I think it was Pride, where like it was it Don Fry, and they're like holding the back of each other's heads and just like
That's what it
punching each
reminded me
other.
of too. I was literally about to say that.
But it was like a one side, like Phil's just like hand smashed up, like just like punching him. I'm like, that was it was savage. It was savage.
Yeah, so my birthday is the 15th, June 15th. And I was like, all I want, I said this to one of my friends. I was like, all I want is a Phil Rowe win for my birthday.
Yeah,
Phil
well,
Rowe
you
and
got it.
Buckley. I was like, Phil Rowe and Buckley. And I got Phil Rowe. I was like,
I
my
know
birthday.
I like Buckley too. He's very exciting. I
I love
enjoy
Buckley,
watching
dude.
him.
I would love to see Buckley versus Phil Rowe one day.
Oh man.
That fight would be so fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But we could wrap it up with one last question. Do you have a message for all your fans and supporters that have followed you throughout your career? And like, what can we expect from Hannah Goldie in the rest of 2025, both inside and outside the octagon?
Yeah, I mean, I just appreciate all of, my fans and supporters. I feel like I have some really loyal ones, and I truly, truly appreciate you guys. As far as fighting for me, like I definitely think that you guys should expect to see me within the next few months announcing something. And yeah, I just love you guys and appreciate you, and thank you for having me, and thank you for your time too.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It's been an honor. Thank you for getting on, bro. I'm so used to saying yes, sir, after
It's okay.
everything that it's
It's
like I
okay.
do this so often.
I got
But
you.
I appreciate you being on the channel. Everyone, that was Hannah Goldie. Make sure y'all go follow her on Instagram, follow her on X, on TikTok. I don't know if she has a TikTok, but
I
follow
just
her on
made
TikTok.
one. I
You
just
did?
made one.
Well,
Yeah,
go
I just
follow her
hopped
new
on the
TikTok,
TikTok.
everyone.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.